Thank you for being with us today, Randall.
Well, I am so glad to be with you all. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you that are in Europe right now. And we are here, and we are talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of energy efficient lighting with an emphasis on LEDs still emerging and getting better and better all of the time. But I want to kind of go to the history of what's happening with light. Back in the early days, I think photographers are the first people to look at lighting, and I'm saying photographers, but I really mean painters back in the very beginning. And we have a painter here that's doing a street scene, and we see that glow coming from an illuminated lantern there. It is just firelight that we are seeing, creating that wonderful glow, and that's kind of what we want to see from our LEDs and our energy-efficient light sources. A lot of stuff in the beginning was created by engineers, and engineers really thought that 3,000 degrees Kelvin was the go-to, which is the color of halogen, which is kind of a white light to have it all the time. Because when you look in this picture here, we have the person enjoying a little glass of wine or two or three and basking in that golden glow. That's what we want from our LEDs. Here is an artist's depiction of a classic lighting problem, and that is having the light switch too high on the wall. Here we are. It's a delicate situation. You're trying to move to the next space, and you cannot find that light switch. So we've got the four functions of light here, and this is really the language of light. It is not French. It's easy. It's 4 words. You can get it down, and I want to give you illustrations of each of these because this is a way to explain it to your clients, to your loved ones, to the little children that you have lured into your van. Okay, unfortunately, here we are. This is the way that most of America lights their homes. We have the chandelier with 5 or 6 100-watt light bulbs, sort of the supernova of illumination being put into the space. It's so bright that you really have to wear sunglasses inside. And we can see over here that we have the high-end lampshade with the fringe and the grape cluster pull chain. That is a big ticket item. And then, of course, the use of television as additional ambient light for the space. Very uninviting.
Really?
And then these days, every place that I go, it feels like every space is being illuminated by everyone's iPad. That's how it feels to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here is what we're starting to see, that light layering where we have accent light, we have fill light in the space. So the accent light is illuminating the art, throwing a wash of light across the texture of the fireplace. We have decorative down here, just a glow, not doing anything but creating a little bit of a visual enticement into the space. And then we have these indirect lights up here along the ceiling line, bouncing that soft illumination. And what that does is it makes people look good, which I think is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then here is something a little bit more subtle. I think good lighting happens when you don't really notice it. We have our decorative fixtures here, just a little bit of a glow. Our wall wash fixtures here that are creating the light wash for the art. Then we have this really great indirect lighting fixture. It does have a bit of a glow on the interior. It has an opaque outside, but lots and lots of light going up to fill this room with that soft glow so that everybody looks younger and more refreshed. And who doesn't like that?
It's best.
So the decorative lighting, that's our first one we want to take a look at more specifically. And this is decorative, the sconce here, the pennant fixture here. These are using LED sources inside. In this case, these are just screw-in LEDs. When you are looking at them, you want to think about the color of the light coming out and the quality of that color. The color of the light is measured in terms of Kelvin, that's color temperature, and then the quality of light is measured in terms of CRI, which is the color rendering index. And I'm going to go into that in more detail as we go along.
Great.
Okay. And this is my house. This is my house here. And so you come into the entryway here. You're so overtaken by the beauty of it that you have to sit down for just a moment.
I've had that experience.
Yes, you have. You have been there.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad. So we have this nice tall, this was a floor lamp that I decided to hang from the ceiling just because that's who the kind of person I am. And we have 3 what are called CCFLs in there. That's cold cathode compact fluorescent, which is a horrible name for a beautiful little bulb. I'll show you pictures of it down the road. But this is another one that I want to have in your color box there. We want incandescent, we want fluorescent, we want CCFL, we want LED. I'm not against any source. I just want you to know of all the different ones that are available there. So we have accent light that is washing the red chest, the front of the little cabinet here. This is your big accent light in the space. Okay. And then moving into my dining room, I admit these are my places. Susan knows. I can't tell her it's somebody else's. So here we are, and I have made a fixture. This is from CB2, Crate and Barrel 2. That's one of their stools that I've inverted, and then I hung a $35 pendant fixture from CB2 as well inside with a LED, a dimmable LED inside. All the recessed fixtures you're using LED, dimmable MR16 lamps. So I was able to go from 75 watts per fixture down to 11.5 watts per fixture, which really affected my energy consumption, and still the place looks good. All right, accent lighting, accent. This is what I see in the magazines all the time, that everything is beautifully illuminated except for the seating areas, which means that people are going to feel less important than the objects in the space. So you're telling friends and family that what you own is more important than they are.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, don't want that. So this looks like a gallery space. This is actually somebody's home. It was built around their art collection, and so we did create these spaces that were very gallery-like, but then we created more intimate spaces for day-to-day living. But one of the things that we did is there was this reveal that allowed daylight to come in during the day, but also we did a line of track light up there that we were able to create a slot of illumination to just create a little bit more dimensionality in that space. Now these are cooler colors than I would be using in a normal residential space. This is more the 3,000 degrees Kelvin, which we would normally see in a gallery setting. Now using the LED MR16 here with a slightly warmer color temperature, I think it does make a big difference. Hey Susan, it sounds like there's something moving around on there. That sounds much better. I know you're probably having a little snack while you're listening to me. That's A-okay. It's really A-okay. Okay. What's happening here is there is a line of indirect LED running along the front of each of these shelves to illuminate the art. It creates much less reflection. Can you see the little reflections on that? Those are the existing recessed fixtures from above. I can actually turn those off, and then we have no reflection on the glass, but I wanted to show it in the shot so you could see what would happen if you weren't doing it. So it's just a different way of thinking about illuminating anything that has a reflective surface to it. Now in this kitchen, nice and traditional, we do have the lighting inside the cabinetry. We have lighting underneath. And what I'm finding here is that this is where we have a less than optimal CRI. That's the color rendering index, where to me it's a little bit greenish. It's great for making the apples and the grapes look really green, the plants look really green, but also your skin's going to look a little bit green in here. So what we want to do is to replace these with a warmer color of light that has a higher CRI. Nice warm, high CRI here. Even though this is a commercial space, it has a residential feel because of the warmth of those colors. Hey, Susan, I still hear things moving around out over there.
Okay, we're going to take care of that.
It sounds like you're moving furniture around. It's A-okay. I don't mind you doing two things at once. We are all multitasking here. Here is my living room. I take pictures of my house. It's okay. I am experimenting with light all of the time, and if I do that, then stuff I do, hey, it's a business expense, and that's okay with me. So we've got all LED MR16s. We have the accent light. We have ambient light coming from this very interesting fixture out of Bali, light on the art. Also, lighting outside. I really think that it's important to light beyond windows and sliding glass doors so that you don't get what's called the black mirror effect, where you end up seeing your own reflection instead of the view beyond. I've also projected some light up onto the ceiling. I think ceilings are one of those places that don't get enough attention and have a great amount of potential. There we go. Ooh, it jumped. It jumped. I'm going to go back. You didn't see that joke at all. You'll see it the next time. Outside, I think it is very important that you can take this same technology outside and create outdoor rooms, and you can expand your entertaining space, your living space dramatically without change the envelope of your home. So I really think the creation of outdoor rooms is a great potential space. This is me down in the back. It's not me, but it is my backyard. Yeah, that's me. Task lighting, also important sometimes. Okay. Task lighting is what you use to do work. It's light under the cabinets in the kitchen. It's light in the closet. It's light on either side of the mirror in the bathroom for applying makeup or shaving. Kitchen lighting and bathroom lighting, one of our two emphases today. So there you are as a youth, creating your special hamburger and spaghetti dinner with the medley of frozen vegetables in the back. It was a very balanced meal. I like the big pot of grease off to the left there, and the vaguely sexual desserts in the background. Okay. Task lighting from overhead does not work very well. What happens is you end up being in your own shadow. It's better to think about having some indirect light. We have indirect lighting on top of here, LED lighting on both of those to create that nice fill light in the space. We do have recessed fixtures to fill in for light along here. You want enough of them so that their beam spreads cross over each other. We have the under cabinet lighting here. And so we have this nice glow of illumination. This does really invite you in to the kitchen, especially if you have a kitchen that's open to other rooms of the house in an open plan. You want it to be as inviting as the rest of the house while still being energy efficient. Okay. This kitchen has 9-foot ceilings, and the other one that we just saw had 8-foot ceilings. But here we've got pendant fixtures. These are alabaster fixtures that have dimmable compact fluorescence in there. Warm. Also, you can see that the ceiling and the walls are done in a warm color to help bring that warmth into the space. Lighting inside the hood, LED under cabinet lighting here. All of these guys working together to create that light. That's that light layering still going on, not trying to depend on one source of illumination to do it. A little bit more of a modern interpretation. This fixture here, this is made by Boyd Lighting, and it has indirect LED or fluorescent inside, throwing a nice glow of light, but it has a very architectural feel to it. It just kind of disappears, but does throw a wonderful line of light. This is a floating wood ceiling. It holds off the wall about 3 inches, and we're using a wall grazing technique to throw light all the way down here. Even the cabinets are floating out from the wall, so you can see how the light travels behind it. We also have a little line of LED light under here. A lot of times that island with that overhang, that can be really dark. This adds just a nice little subtle glow of illumination. Okay. Another thing that we're seeing is the underlighting of kitchen counters, especially at the island here. I love the idea, but this has not a very good one. They've just done an LED rope lighting. You can see how it's kind of snaking its way along there. We want to have more of an even illumination. Examples I will show you down the road. Okay. Bath lighting. Here we are, 1980. You remember 1980, don't you? Big shoulder pads, high, tight hair, and recessed downlights over the sink. Now, really, we want lighting on either side of the face. So you get even illumination for shaving, applying makeup. If you just have a recessed fixture over your head, this is more what you're going to look like. This is not what you want to wake up to. Not. Line of light above, not much better. It lights your forehead, not the rest of your face. You've got to get lighting down on the sides, like this. And it can be subtle, it can be beautiful. You want to have, if it's the master bath, you want to have 75 to 100 watts worth of light in each of these fixtures. You want it to be dimmable. If you're using a compact fluorescent, it only needs to be 25 watts. If you're using a LED source, then it's about 20 watts that you would be looking at. So you're using much less light, but you want to make sure that those bulbs have a high CRI of 90 or higher. We'll get to a little chart that'll help you out, and you want to have that color temperature. I like 2700 degrees Kelvin. Some people like a little bit cooler. It's up to you. You're going to get to choose. I like to have a long fixture if members of your family are of varying heights. Having nice long fixtures allows the shorter people and the taller people to have the illumination at the right level. The mounting height is normally 5'6", which is eye level, and having a longer fixture gives you a little bit more flexibility as to height. If you have two mirrors that are far apart from each other, then I would recommend a pair of fixtures like you're seeing here. These are LED sources in a warmer color temperature, dimmable, very nice. But you can also see reflected in that mirror pendant fixtures that are adding ambient light to the space. You don't want to do just task lighting. You want to add these layers of light in each of these spaces. These are compact fluorescent fixtures here, linear fluorescence. And they, again, are flanking the two mirrors in the space. These fixtures are made by Phoenix Day, that company. All right. These fixtures are made by Boyd Lighting on the right, two pictures, and on the left, those are made by Dreamscape. That's the company. They fit flush with the mirror, project a lot of light out, and it can be an LED or a fluorescent source. Boyd has all of these patterns that you can choose from. The one that you're seeing in the picture here is the first one, which is just the plain white opal acrylic. We've been working with Dreamscape Lighting to put two colors of LED inside their fixtures. One is for day and one is for evening. So if you're getting ready to go to the office, you might use the color of light that's closer to your office lighting, your daylight lighting. But when you're going out in the evening, then you can use a warmer color because you're seen under warmer sources at the theater or at the restaurant. Doing perimeter lighting all the way around behind a mirror is a little trend that we're seeing. It's nice and clean. This is using fluorescence, and it kind of drops off in these two corners. I would be doing a linear LED. That's what I would recommend so that the illumination is even all the way around. Kind of like we're seeing here. This is a company, electric light company, that does LED or fluorescent perimeter lighting for mirrors, different sizes. I kind of like that. So I want you to see that it's available. Okay. In a powder room or a guest bath, you don't have to have 75 to 100 watts. I think about 45 watts to 60 watts per fixture is plenty. And then I like to add that additional bit of decorative / ambient light in the space. We have a recessed fixture, accent light to illuminate art, all those little things working together just to create that nice cohesive design that I'm talking about. Now here's a much better use of that under cabinet lighting. Or the counter is beautifully illuminated. This is an onyx countertop, nice, strong, linear light, dimmable, but you can see how nice and evenly illuminated it is. This is what we see in the bathrooms all the time, that one recessed fixture over the edge of the toilet there. This is not the greatest light to be seen under. You see these arcs of light, it's a very kind of Quasimodo feel, or Phantom of the Opera. You're underneath the opera house, and you're going through the catacombs, and you see these shadows here. I want you to imagine your appendages under this light. This is not a good light to be seen under. And I also have a question. Why are there 2 rolls of toilet paper? Who is this for? Is this emergency toilet paper? Is this just for guests? And here, I would like to know why the art is illuminated and attached at this level. You know, if you're standing there, it seems a little low. If you're sitting there, are you not facing the wrong direction? I was told it's for when you were sick. That piece comes back into focus, you're okay. Task lighting. Yeah, it is task lighting. This is my friend's house, and I took the picture. They said, are you going to be in a book? I said, well, no, but I will talk about you. It does come between your head and your work surface, which is the optimum location for light. It does help you get up and down, and it does keep you warm as you're reading the newspaper. Okay. Wow. Talking about reading, is this a library with a toilet in it? Or is this a bathroom with a lot of reading material? I'd say if you're reading Moby Dick, take it to another room. Do not hog the bathroom. Okay. Ambient light for me is very important and probably the one that's always forgotten about in a job. Now these are beautiful Ingo Mauer fixtures, giant. They're like 38 inches in diameter, so we have 12-foot ceilings in this house. And they're throwing lots and lots of light, but also have a decorative element and create a secondary ceiling line in the space to give a little bit more human scale. These fixtures are meant to take 5 100-watt bulbs, but we were able to put in 5 20-watt LED bulbs that were dimmable, giving the same amount of illumination, but greatly cutting the energy consumption. Plus, a regular household bulb has a life of about 750 hours, whereas the LEDs have a life of nearly 25,000 hours. A little bit of indirect lighting up here can really help this galley kitchen. Task lighting is down here, a little bit of task lighting up here, and then ambient light / decorative from the 2 close to ceiling fixtures in the mudroom part of the kitchen as you enter in. Okay. Much higher ceilings, 16-foot ceilings now. What we did was we created these panels. These are suspended panels that have indirect lighting on top of them that throw light towards the actual ceiling. Then in between we have recessed fixtures that are illuminating the objects below, and then these pendant fixtures, also some great Ingo Mauer fixtures called the Omema, have an indirect illumination here, throwing light onto these beautiful pieces of paper here that just float in the space. So we were trying to do something that was very architecturally integrated to get that ambient light. Okay. In this space, this is a condo, totally concrete condo. So we created these box beams, floated them slightly down from the ceiling, as you can see. So we have indirect lighting coming out of them, plus that gave us the ability to do recessed LED fixtures in there to do all of the illumination of the space. And I am definitely pro-candle. I love a good candle. I like it that these are so tall that you don't get that flame tip right in your eye. It's above eye level when you're sitting. Daylight shot of a beautiful house, but it's really at night that you can see how that indirect light makes a difference. The whole house glows like a beautiful lantern. You inside will look so wonderful. Here we are inside during the day. We have indirect light on top of the beams. In behind this cantilever, we have more light, recessed fixtures here for the accent lighting. And so this is what the space looks like. We're on the other side of the room now. So we have the pendant fixture really not doing anything but creating a little bit of decorative sparkle here. You can see the indirect light here and here, along with these decorative fixtures. There are accent lights here that are washing the stone, but to me it's really subtle. Kind of the illusion is that the light's coming from these lampshades, and that's what we want. We don't want them to overpower, but we want the illumination to be subtle but effective. All right, now we want to get into the brass tacks of what you need to look at. So color temperature measures the color of the light. The higher the number, the cooler the light, the lower the number, so the warmer the light. So it's opposite in the way you think of heat. If you thought of an oven at 5,000 degrees, you would think you could cook ceramics in there. But that is the color of daylight, and it is a freezing cool white light. That is Antarctica at noon. As we go down, the smaller numbers, here's your 2,800 degrees, 2,700 degrees, incandescent, dimmed incandescent, candlelight. So the lower the number. And what's great is we're going to see this information on the boxes. So you don't have to guess, you can just know. And then that CRI that I've been talking about is so important. You can tell how colors are rendered. And the higher the number, you want to get as close to 100 CRI as possible. Incandescent light has 100 CRI, and all other types of light are measured up to it. And you're going to see a lot of 80, 85 CRI on the market. Do not buy it. Do not make the investment. Hold out for 90 or higher. So look at the difference here. Just washed out. You know, it does make the greens look super green, but that's not giving you the full rainbow colors that we want. Now this is what you're going to see on the boxes of the light bulbs. Lamps is what we call them in the industry, just to confuse people, because then we call table lamps, we call those portable luminaires. Very confusing. But here it is. It's just like on your cereal box. It tells you how much fiber, how much sugar, things like that. So here's your light output. Here's the wattage being used. And then here's your color accuracy. 80, not good. Not good. It's got a nice warm color temperature, but I still would not buy this until we see 90 or higher there. So be very careful in what you buy. Be selective, because these bulbs are going to last 17, 18 years. You don't want it to be like a bad marriage. You want it to be a happy marriage, and you want to be able to live with this bulb for the life of it. Taking a look at some of the different color temperatures, just so you can see, this is the same light fixture, but how different it is interpreted with the color of the bulb that's inside. Okay. Even whites look very different under those different color temperatures. So we have 2,700 degrees Kelvin over here. We have 4,000 degrees Kelvin here. In closets, excuse me, sometimes I do like to use a cooler color temperature so they can tell the difference between white and off-white, black, navy blue, charcoal gray. Under 2,700 degrees Kelvin, you cannot tell those differences. Okay. Oh yes, you know, everybody has that fear. I'm going to allay it. Lots of compact fluorescents have been around, and a lot of the early ones, they hummed, they buzzed. They're really not even very attractive. Things are changing, though. One of the things that we are seeing is the GU24. That's the bi-pin down here, and that's how it goes in. The reason I'm liking this, it is coming in LED versions and the CFL versions, is that this meets California's Title 24, which I think is really important for us here in California. Also, here's a little something going on. Inside this pillar candle is a compact fluorescent lamp, but because it's hidden by the pillar candle, you have a very traditional feel for something that is completely energy efficient and dimmable. This lantern is made by a company called Newton Gallery. I love them. Let's go. All right. So as these lamps are changing, here's a CCFL in a GU24 base. We have a screw-in LED flame tip. And then we have that screw-in CFL. These, don't love them, but if you can hide it behind a shade and you need a lot of light, they can do a pretty good job. Okay. Here's that CCFL that I was talking about. It's tiny, whereas the compact fluorescents before look like a big softy ice cream. These are like a fine angel hair pasta, so they can be wrapped and put inside little tiny A lamps, G lamps, and flame tip bulbs. I'm showing the clear version so you can see what's inside. But these come in a frosted version that look pretty much like a standard incandescent bulb, but you can see how beautifully warm that light is. I like these because you can get them in a 2200 degree Kelvin, which is that color of dimmed incandescent, and it dims down 90%, whereas most of the compact fluorescents only dim down to 30%. Jumped for me again. I'll go back for a sec. Just wanted you to see the CCFLs are in here and in here. LEDs up there, and so you can mix these sources as long as the color temperatures and the CRIs are very close. They don't have to be exact, but close. All right, lumen output, you just have to start to think about it when you're starting to look at bulbs. So kind of the easy one to look at is that if you want 100 watts worth of light, you're going to have to look for a bulb that puts out 1600 lumens worth of illumination. There is one, I think Cree is the one that's putting out one that has 100 watts of illumination. 75 watts, you want 1100 watts, a 60 watt, 800 lumens. So that's what we're looking at. And then here is your LED equivalent. So that's what you'd be needing. But look at the difference. You can get 100 watts worth of light for 16 to 20 watts worth of power consumption. Okay. They're even now making filament LEDs, which are just really wonderful to me. Dimmable, this is Ushio's. This is great for hospitality where you want to have that beautiful incandescent flamey look, but you've got these fixtures on chandeliers that have 24 bulbs in them, and you've got 24 chandeliers, and they're on 24 hours a day. Then you want to have something that's going to last for a long time and take very little amount of power. This is like 3 watts, if that. Here they are. You know, who wants to get up on that 22-foot ladder to change these? Those little flame tip CFLs up there, excuse me, the LEDs. They make them in a CFL too, but I like the LED ones. That's what I want because I don't want to go up there for 16 years, and I won't. All right, so a lot of people have recessed adjustable fixtures in their homes that have MR16 lamps in them, and they're starting to change over to the LEDs. Now, the first LEDs had multiple diodes in them, and that created multiple shadows, which is kind of disconcerting. We want a single source LED like you're seeing here. This is a company called Sora that makes a great variety of lamps, excellent color rendering qualities, 95 CRI, also various beam spreads and various color temperatures. Another company, Green Creative, doesn't have a wide variety of color temperature, excuse me, of beam spreads, but they do have everything else. And so those are the two that I am specifying myself. And here I just wanted to show you a fluorescent CFL that I think is very interesting looking. It is artistic. I love it. It's sort of like neon art, and it's called the Plumen, which I think means feather in German, feathers, or plumes. And then right there, I just love it inside these clear glass fixtures. So if you're using one of those Edison bulbs with the filaments, you could use the LED version, or you could consider this because I think it's also a smart and artistic energy efficient version. Strip LEDs, also called ribbon lights, linear lighting. I love them. I use them all the time. I really like ion LED because they have a very high color rendering. They have a mix of color temperatures that you can get. Excuse me. Very small, as you can see from my beautiful withered model's hand here. And you can see the glow that comes out of them. Nice warm color. You want to get that high CRI again. There it is. You can see it's very unidirectional, so it's throwing the light way up, so it makes for a great indirect light source or a direct light source under cabinetry, inside cabinets. You can even get them so that they have a range of color in there. It just means that they have different colored LEDs that can be dimmed in sequence so that they can go from cool to warm and vice versa, just like you would with an incandescent bulb. I love using them inside bookcases, nice even illumination. Because LEDs have no UV, they're not harming the art or anything that's happening in the space. As far as recessed fixtures go, we are now seeing fixtures being offered that are giving the illusion of getting warm when dimmed. Again, it's multiples of LEDs that are doing that. So Juno came out with one of the first ones. The straight down light is called their warm dim. Their adjustable one, which we like to use, is called the Aculux version. There, other companies are making them as well, but I just wanted to at least get you started so you can see what's going on out there. I do like color-changing LEDs. I'm having a lot of fun with it. This is a job that we did up in Modesto, and so we created this metal tray that floats below the ceiling, and then the ceiling has this just slot up there, a little sheetrock slot, and so there's an indirect light that's throwing light up into that slot from the trough, and we can make it change colors, we can make it move, all these crazy things that you can make it do, and that's me dancing in the back because it was a big ticket item and they went for it, and I am so happy about that. And in the end, really, as a designer, I want to make sure that my clients are happy with the decisions that they've made. They may be a little bit poorer than when they started out, but that's okay. I really want them just to kind of feel like a princess, that they've been taken care of in the best way, and that we're going to protect their home, their items, and their skin from the harmful effects of UV and glare. And so with that, I want to say thank you so much for listening to me. I am a crazy guy, and I just love light, and I'm happy to share my ideas with you. And if you have questions, email them to me, email them to Susan, and we will let you know what we think. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Randall. Very good information. I really appreciate it.